Hello YouTube, how's everybody doing? Hope everyone's had a great week so far, and for those who are getting the nasty storms, please keep yourself safe and warm and try to be out as little as possible. I don't want to hear of any of my friends being hurt or injured or anything like that due to the bad roads. Anyhow, first off, I gotta apologize to you guys. I've missed out on a few videos, like 3. And that was all my doing. Saturday, I just wasn't, I don't know, feeling really up to it. Sunday, I did some holiday shopping and it just, the day got away from me kind of thing. And yesterday, I did a live bingo, but I was planning on doing a video as well, and it just never happened. So this is going to be a mashup of today and the last previous 3 days. So it's going to be a little long, and I do apologize now for it. Start off with, first video I missed was my Saturday loom. Now, when I showed it to you guys the last time, I was using a gray and a green color together on my biggest loom, which is my pink one, to make a cowl. And it was kind of a neat stitch that originally I started on the loom to make a hat a few weeks ago, and just the way the brim on the hat was working out, I didn't like it, so I said, nope, not making that. I really don't like it at all. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's not turning out the way I thought it should. But the body part of the hat, I really liked. And I had showed you guys, I'd started it with the green and gray. And it was turning out okay. And then all of a sudden, after I showed it to you guys, it wasn't looking okay. I happened to look on the inside of the loom, and I guess I inspected it a little better, and realized I had skipped a peg at one point. It had to have been when I was doing a knit stitch because of the way the yarn, well, it could have been a purl stitch too, I guess. But I missed a peg anyways. I tried to take the pegs all the way down from that one that I missed and re-loop it all up and get it going again. I did that, and I did a couple more rounds, and then I looked at it and I thought, oh no, I did something wrong. This is a total mess. Okay, this is going to be ripped out. And the fact that my Sunday's project, which I will talk to you guys in a moment about, was kind of eating up more yarn than I intended it to. I was going to make a set of wristers and a cowl to go together. So I ripped the loom out, completely out, ripped it out. There was no saving it. I thought, yeah, I just got to give up on that. And I thought, okay, well, we'll see what becomes of it at a later date. So as I worked on the wristers more, I finally decided this weekend I started up on the loom again, but I went a different route than the colors I was using because my gray color I was using ended up being a ball about this big. Like, it wasn't very big. Like, it was a bit bigger than a ping pong ball, I would say. Maybe ping pong plus half in circumference. So I thought, yeah, that's not going to make me a cowl. So what colors am I going to use? I still really want to make this cowl. I really, really, really like the pattern and the texture. So I thought, okay, well, I made that hat a few weeks back with the Burnett Super Value yarn. And then it was given to me the other yarn, and it had no label. And I know the homespun is long and thin like the Burnett. Like, it's the longer type yarn. This was shorter and plumper. So, but it reminds me of the homespun yarn. Oh boy, do I ever have a mess going on here. Like, it does remind me of homespun, but the way it was caked up didn't seem right. But it does remind me because it's got the little crinkly pattern. I don't think my camera's picking it up very well for you guys. I'm so sorry on that. But it reminds me of the homespun. So I thought, well, I made that hat out of these 2 colors. And I thought, well, I had a good amount of this. Didn't know it was going to get it to about 6 to 8 inches like I was hoping for the cowl. But to be honest with you, with these 2 put together on my biggest peg loom, it's not eating up the yarn as much as I thought it would. And I'm going to guess I'm about maybe 2.5, 3 inches in length already. And I was thinking about going maybe 6 or 8. Hopefully the pattern will show up for you guys. Here, if I pull it down a little, maybe you guys can kind of see the pattern. I'm hoping it's kind of showing up for you. So yeah, I figured I'd go about 6 to 8 inches, or maybe till this is gone, depending on how much it starts to eat up as the little ball gets smaller, you know. And then it's done in a 3-row repeat. There's 2 rows of knit, then 1 row of purl, which gives you the little bump round, and then 2 rows of knit again, which kind of, the stitches look like they're set back a little. But yeah, I like it. And this is the inside of how it's looking. And like when I squish this is nice and squishy and soft, and it's going to be warm. So I did get restarted on a loom project. Will it be done by next week? I honestly could not tell you. So that was my Saturday's project that I did not show you guys on Saturday. And again, I do apologize for all these. Next project, which would be my Sunday's head to toe winter knits project that you guys so gratefully vote on my patterns as to which one I'm going to make next. So if you still want to put a vote in, you've got time, because I'm thinking this Sunday coming up, I will be closing that poll. And and it's on my post page if you're wondering where it is. There's not much on there, so it's easy to find the 3 choices you can have. So this is my my hand warmers, and this is the model wearing her set. Now, had I looked at the picture a little better and actually read the instructions of how to put it together, this next part would have made more sense to me. I'm the type of person, like say I'm making a granny square bag or a granny square blanket. Most times, I know I did a granny square blanket last year, I believe it was, and yeah, it was last year's, and the colors, you never knew from one square to the next what the colors are going to be. But most times, I'm the type of person, I like my squares to match. I like, say if I do a bag or something, I like my squares to match, or my hexagons or octagons or whatever shape I'm using in the granny square Roma things. For those who have watched the show Roseanne or the Connors, there's on the back of the couch there's this granny square blanket. It's been in the show since day 1. Very first episode, that blanket was on that couch, and it was there all the way through. I think only maybe 3 times you saw someone actually lying down with it on them, but that blanket was always on the back of that couch. And yes, granny squares are a great project to use up, those small little bits of yarn. And if you're fine with just hodgepodge type throwing colors together, that's not my vibe. So when I showed you guys this project last time, I had the green done, and I had the 4 rows of the stockinette stitch done. And there's a stitch marker keeper here at the back. Well, I got it done. It's completely bound off. It's done. After the stockinette stitch, there was some seed stitch, then some lace stitch, then some seeds, some lace, all the way up to some seeds, and then bind off. Hope you guys can see that. It's got a pretty neat texture. Now, I'm going to take the stitch marker off this one just so it's not bothering me when I show you this. I knew I wanted this flat piece right here, the gray, on the top of my hand. Okay? I'm going to try and hold this the best I can to kind of show you how it works. So here you go. I don't know how well you guys can see that, because obviously, it's loosey-goosey, but... And then the bind off part would be on the bottom part of my hand. Okay, no problem. If I sew it the way I thought I was going to sew it, it would work great for my left hand. Now, for some reason, this did not click on me, and it's my own fault. Like I said, I didn't read further in the book, but I was pretending the thumb hole was still at this top. And if I switched it to this hand, all of a sudden, that flat piece is on the underside, and the bind off piece is on the top. I thought, yeah, I don't like that. So I was thinking, okay, what can I do to fix that? And I thought, well, if I fold it this way, and then have the bind off piece at the top with my fingers, and the green piece down at the bottom, I thought, okay, that will work. They're going to be for me anyways, and even if I was going to give these away to somebody, they wouldn't know otherwise, right? So go back to the way it was formed this way. So this is how it would be for the, like I said, the left hand. I'm going to show you guys again. And I'm putting the wrong sides on the inside of the arm, the right side on the outside of the arm. But more or less, that's how it would be for my left hand. Now, to make it work for my right and my thumb hole is up at the cast on end, okay? There's the string from when I cast it on the green to originally start, I think. Actually, no, this would be the cast on, the single screen green strand would be at the bottom, okay? Had I switched it, put the single strand of green at the top. I'm fumbling here, guys. I am so sorry about this. Oh, wait a minute. That's not working. Okay, if it's this way, on the outside, then it'd be this. Yeah, it would be this way. So if I put the green cast on at the top and put the hole at the other end, it puts the flat side on the top of my wrist. So the cast on for the green is going to be at the top for my right hand. And at the bottom, so instead of turning it this way, you turn it this way, like end to end. If you guys can grasp that, I'm sorry, I was going fast on that. Sorry. So anyways, I've got one and I've got two. They're just not sewn together and aren't sewn in. But they are both done. I think they're cute. I don't know, I'm really liking the lace work. That is something new for me. I've only done it a few times. Pretty much working out of this book only. Prior to that, I don't think I've ever really done lace work before. So I'm really liking it. And same with baubles. Baubles is cables or something else that's still kind of new to me. And I do know there is a couple cable projects in here, and I can't wait to get to those. So those are my Saturday and Sunday projects. And again, like I said, there is a pull up of 3 items from this book to vote on. If you guys would like to go over there, price to vote. I don't look throughout the time until I close it. So I have no idea which one's winning or which one will win. Okay, so those are those projects. Let's try to kind of move those out of the way a little. Now, to yesterday's project. And I'm going to hold this up on the screen a little longer because when I held it up last time, someone made a comment they couldn't really see the color. So my Monday's projects are my mandala Mondays. That's what I'm calling it. I figured I'm doing mandala blankets, but I'm going to be changing it after this one, I think. And it's going to be going back and forth between a mandala and, I want to say mandala. No, that's not right. Mosaic. So one blanket will be a mandala. The next one is going to be a mosaic blanket. I think. I'm hoping that's where it's going to go. So for this mandala blanket, I am using Yarn Bee Feeling Gradient. And then it's in the colorway of hibiscus. Oh, sweet hibiscus, sorry. I don't know for sure because I'm in Canada, but I think this yarn is a Hobie yarn or Hobby yarn or possibly a Joann's yarn. I don't really know because we don't have it here in Canada. So let me hold it up long enough for you guys to see it. There's the label. Here's what's left of the cake. As you can see, there's some pinks and some grays. Not much left of this cake. I just finished round 24. And I think there is 44 rounds. So I do have this same yarn in a blue tone color. And I'm going to be doing the outside part blue. And I'm thinking it's just going to go until I run out because I don't think I'm going to have enough. Now, mind you, when I started the project with this yarn, I had used some of it out of it to make like a 50s style kind of headband type idea out of my Head to Toe Winter Knits book. So it has been previously used by me. So a little bit about this yarn. It is 75% or 77% acrylic, 23% polyamide. It calls for a 4.5 US 7 hook or knitting needles. I'm using a 3.5, and even though the yarn is very fuzzy, I'm not having a problem with the 3.5. The stitches look really uniformed, and you know, it doesn't look like it's stiff by any means or tight or anything like that. So the 3.5 works good for me. It is a 5.3 ounce ball, 150 grams, 550 meters, and 590 yards. Again, I told you I was using Sweet Hibiscus right now. And the YouTube channel I got this pattern from is Mixed Candy. Now, I will repeat, I'm enjoying this pattern very much so. I'm following actual video tutorial. If you want to go check out Mixed Candy, please go ahead and check them out. If you're a very, very, very beginner crocheter, this pattern in particular, I don't know about her other videos. I've never watched anything else from her. At this, I'm not following her, but I will sooner or later click that notification bell and subscribe and everything because I really do like her pattern. Her written instructions at the top of the video and what she does in the very first stitch don't match. Actually, I don't think she really writes what you're supposed to do in the first stitch. So you really got to watch how she does her first stitch pretty much every single round. And then once she gets past that stitch, a lot of times she's going really, really fast with her hands. So if you need the tutorial to learn how to do the stitches, I would not recommend this video unless you're going to play it in a slower mode, because you can slow the videos down when they're playing, like the speed wise, and you might be able to understand what she's showing you better. So now there was, like I said last time, there was a tie-on in this skein of yarn. So the second section of pink, there's not as much because that's where the tie-on was. And I will try and hold this up long enough for you guys to see all the color. It's showing up pretty good for you guys. But I do like it a lot. And like I said, like you can tell from the pink section here where all these baubles are, it's not a very thick section. And then the last section of pink, that's where the cake ends with, is pink. It's not going to be a very thick section either, but that's okay. Now, I would guess this blanket so far is probably maybe 14, 16 inches wide. So it's coming along to a good size. Like I said, I don't know, once I add the blue cake on that I have the same yarn, if it's going to do the full pattern. If not, obviously I'm going to end on whatever round it ends on. If for some reason I've got enough of the blue left, when I'm done I think 44 rounds, I may do just a round or two of single crochets just to finish off the yarn itself, because I only have the two cakes. They were two prizes I had won over the summer, late summer, early fall time frame, and I only have the two, so I'm trying to use every bit I can and see where it goes. I was thinking of just doing all I can out of this pink one and get it as big as I can, and then do another one in just the blue, and then have them as smaller, like baby blankets maybe. So I figure if I get another 3 more rounds on it, that would be a good size baby blanket. It's nice and soft, but you wouldn't use it for very long as a baby blanket, and that would be sad because it's so like much detail, and I'm thinking I'm still going to use it for like a wall hanger. So once it's all done hanging up on my wall for a backdrop. So yeah, that's what I plan on doing with that. I think we'll see how big it gets once I get the blue on it. So that's that project. Now on to today's project. And you guys know my Tuesday projects, as I'm calling them, is Top Tuesdays. And the first top I'm working on, I'm using Caron Skinny Cake in the colorway Grape. Now, for here in Canada, our skinny all our Karen cakes. Other than the big birthday cakes, pretty much every single one of our cakes at Michael's are $14.99 before tax. Out of all of them for yardage, the Karen skinny cakes have the most. Okay, so start with their size 3 yarn. Recommends a size 4mm hook or knitting needle. I'm using a 4.25, which is the same size hook I used when I made my Sophie's Universe out of the Karen skinny cake as well. This is 100% acrylic. The cake is 8.8 ounces, 250 grams, 725 meters, and 795 yards. So almost 800 yards per cake. Now, when I buy my Karen skinny cakes, out of all the colorways we have available here in Southern Ontario, there's only 3 colorways I won't use. I've used a couple different colorways for a couple different projects already, but there's 3 colors I absolutely, not for clothing anyways, maybe for a blanket, but not for clothing. I only buy them when I have a 40% coupon to use per cake, and I only order one at a time because unfortunately with us here in Southern Ontario, if you do it for store pickup or in-store shopping, you can only use the coupon for one regular price item per day. So when I add the 40% coupon and then they put the taxes on, it comes out to $10.16, which I don't think that for that amount of yardage, I don't think that's bad. The $15 before taxes is a little high. And it's like, yeah, no, because I'm looking at almost $20 a cake. Now, I'm using a Bag O' Day Crystals pattern. It's one I had on my list for a good length of time that I always want to make. I love the chevron, and I'm loving this. Like it's mindless pattern. And I'm not saying that to be rude or saying like, there was no effort put into this pattern. But if you know how to do, caught on my loom, there we go. If you understand chevrons well enough and you can do them, pretty much without looking at them, this is a very easy pattern. Now, this is my 3rd attempt at said pattern because I'm using a smaller yarn, a smaller hook than Crystal, and I am on the plus side of clothing. I thought, okay, I know Crystal said the one she was making was a plus size, but I still thought for mine, I want to go a little bit bigger than what she was saying to use for stitches. First one I started, and I got below the armpit and got it, the armpit made, and then part of the bust area, I put it on, and it sat down here on my shoulders. Like, it hung on me, which, okay, I was fine with. I could easily add straps to it. I would have been fine with that. Other than the amount of fabric across here was very ripply and bulky. Very, very bulky. I thought, okay, let's take out this many chevrons, and I knew the multiple count was, and I said, okay, if I take out this many chevrons, it will be now this many stitches, because I knew how many I had to start with for how many chevrons I was starting with. I took out that many chevrons, thinking, okay, that should thin it out enough that it will look okay. I got making it again. I got below the armhole, got a few rounds beyond that, put it on. They hung kind of more here, like it sat on my shoulders, but and it was still too much fabric across the chest. So I thought, okay, let's rip this out and attempt number 3. So I thought, if I got to take any more out, and this time I took out 6. First time I took out 4, this time I took out 6. So I took out 10 chevrons in total. And I thought, if this doesn't work, I can't take out any more. There's no way it's going to work for me then. And it's like, sometimes the pattern just, for the stitch count you got to go down to, just for some reason, just don't want to work. And like I needed the thickness, or the amount for my arms. So if I took out more, it would have been, I think, stretching the material across the chest area. And I didn't want that. And I wanted to sit down well on my hips. So what have I done? Let's start with the front of the top. Now, I have not tried it on in a while, to be honest with you. Oh, I'm going to take out the hook. Hold on. remove crochet hook so I don't lose it. So I'll try to show this to you slowly, everybody. I'm sorry if I do move kind of fast. I try not to, but you know how it can be some days. Okay, so here is the front. I hope you guys got a good look at that. And like I said, here's one sleeve. And over here is the other sleeve. I just think it's so cute. And then here's the back. And again, I'll try and go slow for you guys to see the color because the back's got more blue in it than the front does. That's definite one thing I noticed so far. Like there are 2 stripes of blue in the front, but the back's definitely got more blue. So yeah, that's my top so far. Now, like I said, I've not tried it on in a while. Let me find my stitch marker or my progress marker. So I've done 4 rounds since you guys seen it last. So I'm going to move that down below. Wherever it is I've left off. Said yarn, where are you? Right here. Found it. So yeah, it's coming along. I am on cake 2 of this project. Now, how much of cake 2 do I have left? I'm going to have to look. It's starting to look a little deflated. So here's the label. And as you guys can see, there's the colorway. It is looking quite deflated. I hope you guys can get a good look at all the colors in the cake. Might be better look at this end. Hold it up there long enough for you guys to see it. So yeah, it's looking pretty deflated. Whatever amount I get with this cake, I'll be happy with. It should hopefully then sit about where I want it to. I'm probably going to try it on in the next couple rounds. And I don't want to get too long, like more closer to the knees, because I'm not going for like a little summer dress or anything like that. Now, I have not yet picked out the next top I want to make, or the blanket, if I'm going to do a mandala next, or if I'm going to do a mosaic next. I want to do a mosaic. I just haven't found a pattern yet for a mosaic that I like. I found a few on Mary Maxim website for a free download printout type thing, but none I really, really like, and I don't have the yarn to really start something like that yet. So we'll see how Mondays and Tuesdays projects go after I'm done at these 2 projects, because at this moment I don't have yarn to make more. And like I said, most of my tops I want to do with the Caron cakes just because I like them, unless I can get some really decent amount of cotton, because like I know you guys saw last year for Christmas, I got that little kit of cotton yarn in the, I want to say the colorway was mocha, but I don't think that's right. I know Erin over at Crafting Kitty really loves that colorway of that cotton I was using. And I know I've got a label, I just don't know where it is. But I made 2 tops out of that one. One was a designed whatever cardigan. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, I know the stitch for this month for the one Make Along I'm participating in is a really neat stitch. Now, if I'd already had the cake available, I would consider doing this stitch again in 2 panels and make another cardigan out of it. But at this time, I don't have any Caron cakes available. Now, I do have enough in my bank account. I probably could Actually, I think this flyer is a 30% coupon, so if I gave it a couple weeks, I don't know, I'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see because I now have a new bill on my account. Wasn't planning on, well, I knew it was a possibility of getting this, and my son was going to help me, let me piggyback off him. He never showed over the weekend to do it. And I now have Netflix. Now, for the basic package I have, it's only $7.99 plus tax Canadian, and it does come with commercials. And it's mainly because I want to watch Stranger Things 5. I have not yet watched the first episode because I'm making my husband each night of the week when he comes home from work and after he eats dinner, he's sitting with me and watching one episode per night because he's never seen any of it. And last night was a stressful night for me. He's normally home around 9:30 at night. He got home at 10 after 12. 2 hours and 40 minutes later than he should have been. I thought, oh, did we hit a bad wreck on the highway somewhere? And he was beyond the last turnoff point when it happened, and he couldn't bypass it. And no, the guy that also does the run out direction he does was called in yesterday. He doesn't work Mondays, and he took 4 cages or skids or a bit of both of my husband's stuff to the other end where my husband normally delivers to. Plus, he took 4 cages or whatever to go to London, Ontario. So he had a full truck of 8 skids / cages. I don't know what the combination of the packs were that he had. My husband, after rebuilding everything at work, which took him a few hours to do because he had to strip every single one down to bare bones and start fresh, he had a full truck of 8 as well. I think he said he had 3 cages and 5 skids full. Like they were floor to ceiling pallets and everything, and he had them well wrapped, and his truck was packed to the limits. And he's already had, when he was done, before he left to go out on the road, he already had 2.5 cages ready for today's order. So yeah, he was late. I almost thought our son was going to go to work via cab. He got home just in time to eat dinner, get our son up, and go right back to work to drop him off. So yeah, we've only watched the first episode so far, Stranger Things. I've seen 1 through 4. He's never seen any of it. And so I'm making him binge watch it with me till we start 5. When I got looking at the movies, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I don't know what kind of stuff you guys have on Netflix in the States, but we have a lot of movies on there that have really, 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 really piqued my interest. I'm like, yep, I can watch that. Yep, I can watch that. Like, I think I probably got about a list of about 30 movies I could easily watch off of Netflix. And that's not even counting, I think there's like 4 other series on there. No, I'm not counting Wednesday because I can get that on DVD. Although it wasn't out when we went shopping on the weekend. We couldn't find it. So it may be actually a birthday gift for me this upcoming year instead of a Christmas gift for season 2 of Wednesday. But the other shows, it's like, oh, yep, I can watch that series. I can watch that. I'm going to be doing a lot of binge watching, I think. So yeah, it's been a busy few days for me. I've also kept you guys very long enough, way longer than I had always intended to. So please, if you don't mind and you've watched it to the end, hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Maybe share it out or, give me a nice little comment. I'd really, really appreciate that. And I hope you guys like what you see. I will talk to you all later and have a good night.